There's a story about two friends, Alex and Sarah. The two were inseparable friends who, at one point, were each other's anchors. They met during a tough time in Sarah's life. She was lost, struggling to find her footing. And Alex? He became her rock. He didn't do it for recognition. He didn't do it for anything in return. He believed in her potential when no one else did. And she did it. She rose higher than anyone imagined, higher than even she thought possible. But as Sarah climbed the ladder of success, something began to change. The messages grew fewer. The gratitude turned into silence. And then one day, Alex realized he was no longer part of Sarah's world. Blocked, forgotten, replaced. The friend who once stood by her through thick and thin was now nothing more than a shadow in her memory. But this is not just a story about loss. Have you ever wondered why? The good you do for someone can be forgotten so easily. Yet one mistake, one moment of imperfection, becomes the thing people remember most? To understand this, let's explore three psychological concepts: selective memory, the emphasis on perfection, and negativity bias. The cognitive concept of selective memory explains why we tend to remember certain events or details while conveniently forgetting others. Our brains are naturally programmed to focus on emotional survival. Negative events, like betrayal or failure, are perceived as threats, and our brains store them more vividly to protect us in the future. Good deeds, on the other hand, often evoke less intense emotions over time, unless they're repeatedly reinforced or celebrated. Think about it. If someone saved your life in a dramatic way, you'd likely remember it forever because of the high emotional charge. But if someone helped you regularly with small tasks, though just as meaningful, it might not leave as strong of an imprint without consistent acknowledgement. Emphasis on perfection. For people in the spotlight, whether it's influencers, leaders, or even close friends, there's often an unspoken pressure to be perfect. When a celebrity falters even slightly, it can feel like a betrayal of expectations for their fans. It's as if people think, if you were so perfect before, how could you fail now? This emphasis on perfection creates a fragile dynamic where one flaw can undo an entire legacy of good deeds. Negativity bias. The human brain has historically evolved to pay closer attention to negative stimuli. Our brain reacts more strongly to bad news than good news. This cognitive approach typically seeks to keep us safe, with the negativity bias often showing up in how we judge people. A single negative event can overshadow years of positive actions. Similarly, one piece of bad news can ruin our entire day. In the same way, one harsh comment on social media sticks in our head way longer than 100 compliments we get. The amygdala, the part of our brain responsible for emotional responses, is like an alarm system. When something negative happens, the amygdala activates and signals the brain to focus on the event. It even works with the hippocampus, the memory center of our brain, to make sure that a negative experience gets stored long-term. That's why you can remember an embarrassing moment from years ago so clearly, but you might forget what someone praised you for last week. How can we overcome negativity bias? While negativity bias is natural, we don't have to let it control our lives. Practicing gratitude, focusing on positive moments, and even reframing negative experiences can help balance out this bias. Before jumping to judgment over someone's negative actions, we can take a moment to ask ourselves, what positive things have they brought to the table? This may help us balance out this bias. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.